Hey guys, today I want to talk a little bit about gossip. There's one thing in the Philippines that irks people the most is gossip around here. Gossip travels fast. Before your feet hit the ground, the gossip about you has gone around the neighborhood twice, no matter what it may be. I've heard some pretty vicious stories about people in the Philippines telling their stories about gossip that is passed around about them. I've had gossip passed around about me from some people here. I'm not even going to get into that today. That's all passe and gone over the dam and over. But I've had some things happen here before where sometimes even especially expats get involved in this too. Probably even more so sometimes than the Filipinos do. Filipinos are known for gossip. They love their gossip. It's part of their culture. It really is. Just like in the U.S. where we have gossip as part of our culture, I think it's more prevalent over here. I'm not sure why, but it is. In Asian culture, gossip can get very vicious, vindictive, especially amongst the women, between the women and stuff like that. There can be a lot of gossip, and they call it chismis and stuff like that. They have a name for it. And it gets really, really vicious and really, really terrible where they start talking crap and smack about people all the time. And it gets nasty to the point where sometimes fights happen or people start yelling and screaming and fighting, and the hatred and the venom starts showing its ugly head. And usually it's over nothing. But I've also seen expats here that think they're all that. And they have been around enough where they see part of the story going on, maybe at your house or something like that. They extrapolate a certain amount of information, but they don't know the background to the story. They just see what's going on, and sometimes a Filipino will drag it outside so everybody can see if you're in a fight or something like that. So it makes you kind of look bad. And a lot of us expats over here know what I'm talking about. Filipinos are known for dragging the fight out in the ground, out in the mat, so everybody can see it, so that you're still angry because they got you all worked up, they got you all set up, so hey, come on out into the stage now and show everybody, when they're the one who probably caused that issue. It happens quite often around here. I hear it from a lot of people. I've seen it with other expats around me. The girlfriends tend to drag it on the stage, and if the boyfriend won't fall for the trap, what happens is, they'll bring it out on the stage. They'll tell everybody the story, and it'll be truly different than what usually happened, because usually sometimes I'll talk to the expat and they'll say, hey, Steve, sorry for that or whatever, that wasn't meant for you. And I said, hey, man, it happens to the best of us, But, a lot of times the expats sometimes, they like to get involved in other expats' business sometimes, and they get too overly involved sometimes. And I've seen this right here in my neighborhood. They get involved in my business. They get involved in my family business. Places where they shouldn't go, they get involved. And they eat that up. Some of these people eat that up. It makes them feel big inside and really good inside, and and stuff like that, when they're actually not the best person in the world. It's just like it's like a show of bravado to you. Hey, you're an idiot, you're an ass, or something, or whatever they want to think about you. They tend to have these tendencies to just kind of, that makes them feel like a big man, like the big man. And that happens too. We see it here all the time. I've had people extrapolate wrong information from me and go off on me and stuff, and then they become your enemy. And I'm the type of person that, hey, you want to believe something about me? Have at it, pal. That's the way I feel about it. Have at it. You've already believed it anyway. I'm not going to go explain myself to people, nor should you. And you should always be that way. Don't go explain yourself to people. If there are people like that, walk away, because that's usually a sign that the expat is an idiot. We have plenty of expat idiots over here. It's best not to make friends and give them a second chance at being an idiot again to you. And that's what happens over here. Every time I've given somebody an extra chance over here, a second chance, usually I got smacked in the head by it. So I've learned my lesson where I don't give second chances. Very seldom will I give a second chance. And usually I have to take sometimes people say, hey, man, Steve, I apologize. Is everything okay? I'll say, hey, give me some time to think about this. Because you should take that time to think about what happened. And if you think it's going to repeat itself, stay away from that. Because over here, problematic expats can be worse than people back in the U.S. sometimes. And sometimes the people that are coming here from the U.S. can be just as bad as the ones in the U.S. because guess what? They were the problem back there sometimes. And we see that too sometimes. And then sometimes we get some really nice guys here. We have more nice guys here than we do the bad guys. But the bad guys are the ones that are out there strutting their stuff and trying to look like the heroes when behind the scenes they're doing all the dirty work. And then sooner or later, people start seeing them for what they are. I mean, I've been here long enough, and some of the other people around me have been here long enough to see some of the problematic expats here. They've seen who I am. They've seen who these other expats are. And they've seen the true colors of these people too. And when you start seeing what these people are about, you'll understand why some people stay away from some expats. You know, and a lot of people, they tend to kind of say, hey, I'm never going near expats. But you never also want to put yourself totally in with all Filipinos, because you also do need some people, some Western friends, but they should not be the problematic people. They should be the good people. You know, if you find a good friend here, I mean, I have several good friends. I have Justin, I have David, I have Tim, I have a lot of people here, Rich, Daz. We have a lot of good, outstanding people here, and I have too many to mention. You know, Rich, and many others, many others who have always been there for me, you know. And I have a new friend of mine too, Sam. Outstanding people, you know. And you need to have those solid golden friends in your life, because when these problematic friends come along, it's good to have somebody to talk to and unload. One of the things I found out over here is that when something's on your mind, and as an expat, it can get very lonely over here. If you don't have a friend that's like a family member, and you internalize that you're only hurting yourself, it's sometimes good to just have a friend to unload on, you know, a shoulder to cry on, I guess you could say, or whatever, you know, like even guys have to unload sometimes. We do, especially as we get older, because if you internalize all that stuff, you're going to have a heart attack or a stroke or what have you, and you're not going to last long over here. It might be the reason why some people die at 72. For the most part, I'm happy over here. For the most part, I feel decent over here, for the most part. But there's always those days when you have issues over here. There's always those people out there that are going to step on your toes, and they're going to make sure that they do it right in front of you. If you just went through hell with something, they're going to make sure that they show up, and they're going to deal with it their way. They'll step on your toes again, but sometimes they don't know what they're getting themselves into. You know, like when you step away from something, there's always some idiot that's going to step in and take your place. And they have to find out on their own. I've seen that too. I've seen some expats over here, man, they're as dumb as a brick. You know, like I see these people and it's like, okay, you want to step into that spot, man? Hey, have at it. You know, and several occasions I've seen that happen. I've seen these people, they don't know the whole story. They weren't there to see the whole story. They don't want to know the story, but they step right in, and it's like stepping into a pile of you know what, you know. And it's kind of funny watching people do that. Sometimes people deserve the karma that they get, whatever you want to call it. They just do, because they step up to the plate with their stupidity, and sometimes God just goes, hey, have at it, buddy. You want to act like that? This is what's going to happen to you. You know, it's kind of like, you know, you just have to let God take care of it, or whatever you believe in, and just say, hey, I'm done with this here. But then you see that other person step into the same thing that you just walked away from. It's like, dude, you don't even know what you're getting yourself into, and I'm not going to explain it to you. And that's the way you should be sometimes. But be careful. Be careful out there when you have problems with people over here. You know, be careful with all the drama and stuff like that, and the gossip out there that goes around, and be aware when you see those gossip red flags pop up, or people talking about you. Sometimes you do have to speak up. Sometimes it's best to just walk away, or sometimes even move away if it gets really, really bad. You know, most of the time it'll be stuff that's not even true. But you know what? Somebody out there is going to make you the villain on their tongue. Somebody out there is going to talk trash about you. Somebody out there is going to, haunt you just because they can. Remember that. It's best just to turn your back to them and not even listen to them sometimes. But sometimes you need to speak up. I'm not telling you to speak up all the time. Sometimes it's best just to stay quiet. But God bless, guys. Take care.